Welcome to the Tailgate Podcast with your host, Al Blanton. At Tailgate, we celebrate the rich history of sports in the state of Alabama. So come with us as we relive great moments, great games, great players and coaches, and in the process, preserve memories for a lifetime. Coach, your season recently came to an end against Hartselle. I know that's always hard when a season comes to an end. As a former basketball coach myself, that's always tough. But what will you remember most about this basketball season?
It was this team's relentlessness. From our first summer game when we started in June, the effort that those guys showed, the togetherness that they had, the camaraderie, and it showed as we matured as a team and got into the middle part of the season. I probably saw it in December. I was like, man, we were really young and inexperienced. We only had one senior this year, Sailor Bright, and there was a lot of uncertainties about as far as what we were going to be capable of doing down the stretch because we were playing with a bunch of guys that played JV last year.
Yeah.
Sailor was the only returning varsity player. They just bought in from day one, and I believe that just their resiliency gave us a chance every single night. Man, we had some really hard fought games this season that a lot of teams would have probably threw in the towel during that course of the game because I think we had two games where we were down 20 at some point in the game, and we came back and won both of those games. So like that showed me in the middle of the season that we were going to have a chance every night when we stepped out on the floor.
So many people measure a team's success based on their record, but a lot of that has to do with how much you grow, to your point, how much you grow across the season. I mean, how much you get better across the year, and it seems like your team did that.
Right. I mean, at the end of the year in 6A basketballs, we won state champion. So, if you want to call the other 60-something teams, consider them not having a successful season, and I think we're doing these kids and all these coaches a disservice because, like you said, you got to, everybody measures success differently, and I look at me trying to develop young men and trying to make and help these guys be great fathers and great husbands.
Yeah.
And so, the accountability that we strive and lay our hat on each and every day in practice and games, that's where I measure my success.
Yeah.
And getting these guys to play hard and buying into what you're selling. So, I was very pleased with where we were this year. Yeah, we came up short in the area. We had our opportunities to beat Hartselle, but I felt like we were a fun group to watch. I felt like the guys came in and gave 100% each and every night. So that's why I measure our success. And I thought this year was good. I mean, I think we finished 16-9, and that was with one senior. So
Yeah. Nothing to be ashamed of. Absolutely. I gotta talk to Mr. 43 now, though. I gotta talk to Brayden. Brayden, you first came on my radar, man. You had 43 points against St. John Paul II Catholic. You set school records and points and also made three-pointers. Take us through the game. What's going now? I had 43 in intramurals one time and also on double dribble on Nintendo. I got 43 one night. But I mean, it's really an incredible feat for a sophomore to put in that many points. Take us through the game. What's going on in your head as the points are starting to mount up?
Um, just from the very beginning of the game, I was just telling myself that I need to be more aggressive and to just take my shots. And so I think I might have took like three shots and I might have made one out of three, but I told myself just keep shooting. And those next few shots started going in. I had maybe two, three threes in a row. My teammates kept feeding me. And so just kept shooting them. So like after halftime, I think I had six threes. And so when I went back out to warm up, kept telling myself I need to stay aggressive and keep shooting, and I'll hopefully stay hot. And came out at halftime, made my first three. I knew I still had it, so I just kept shooting. And
Yeah.
my teammates, they were really what helped me right there.
Yeah.
Like they were being real unselfish and giving me the ball anytime. Like they passed up open shots for them just to give me the ball so I can make another three. And that's what really helped me out.
So they knew you were hot and they were feeding it to you.
Yes, sir. They just wanted me to break a record. They like it was like a timeout or something, like a few minutes into second half, and my teammates telling me I'm close to breaking the record, and they was just like, hey, you gotta keep shooting, you gotta make some more threes. And they just kept giving me the ball.
How did they even know there was a record? Was there a statistician or bookkeeper that was giving them information during the game?
Um, I'm not sure. They might have already knew about it or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think it was I heard some people in the stands murmuring. So some people, somebody in the crowd had started looking it up
Probably
at that,
Googled it. Yes.
and that message somehow got relayed to the bench, to some of the players, and they started talking about it. But that was that moment right there for me as a coach to see, how unselfish his teammates were.
Yeah.
My coaching staff or myself never said anything to a single player on that team as far as like, hey, let's get him some more shots because he's, see if he can break the record. Those guys did that on their own.
Yeah.
And that was a moment, a heartfelt moment for me as a coach and a dad to see those guys rally around him.
Yeah.
It just happened to be my son in that
Yeah.
moment. If it could have been any other person on that team, and for them to rally around and want that,
Yeah.
the selfishness and want to see their teammate thrive in that moment, man. I told them guys after the game, man, that was just um that was just a surreal moment for me to see how they reacted in that moment as he was, breaking that record.
Yeah, we live in such a me society, and to hear something like this that teammates are willing to be unselfish and really encourage somebody else to have the limelight for a minute is a great thing. Brayden, shooting can be a very streaky thing. I know that from being a former player, but before the game, when you're in warm-ups, or were you pretty hot that night, or was it, did you kind of, get hot during the game? Was it something that once you set foot on the floor in warm-ups, you knew, hey, there's something a little bit different about tonight?
It really wasn't. It was like just a regular warm up. I wasn't hitting every shot. But when it came to the game, I wasn't missing very much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the warm ups really weren't like anything special.
Yeah, it's interesting how sometimes, it may just be kind of an average, warm-up session, and then all of a sudden, bam, I mean, you get hot, and next thing you know, you're putting up, 43 points. So uh I want to talk about y'all's relationship for just a second, and I want to start with Coach. And I've got a 6-year-old son. I was his head coach for six and under basketball this year. What advice do you have for me? I mean, this is my first time to be my son's head coach. What advice do you have for me about coaching my son?
The biggest thing I would say is probably, whatever sport it is, to leave it at the gym, at the field, not to bring it home with you, because we can easily, the passion that we share for the game can easily let that filter over into the house. And at the end of the day, like I was coaching Bray since he was 5. We started a youth basketball team when he was 5. And from that day, that first day in the gym, I told him, you call me coach in the gym, I'm dad at home. Setting those boundaries, and
Hmm.
and so he understood that I'm not the same person at home that I am
Yeah.
when I'm coaching. So a lot of for years, like it was mid-season this year, and it was a couple of not parents but people in the stands. They had no clue who my son is. Like,
Yeah.
they know I've got a son that plays, but I don't treat him any different than anybody else on the roster. I hold him to the same standards. um and values as every other player on our team. So, just um, holding him accountable and just leaving it at the gym and not bringing that stuff home. So we don't watch film at home together. We talk about things at the gym, and we're always having conversations about basketball, and we work out together. But I try to let him be Brayden at home and not me be coaching. I'm trying to be dad at home. So I think that helps keep our helps to keep our relationship healthy.
Yeah. Brayden, what is it like playing for your dad?
I mean, I love it. Like just because I already have a connection to him, so it's a little bit easier for me to like listen to him. But you know, he's a great coach, and he's always been there. Like he's always been taking me to the gym since I was little, taking me to camps. So I've always been around him.
You know, I'm sure it means a lot to you though too that he is your dad at home, but he's also pouring into you and helping you to become a better basketball player on the court.
Yes, sir.
I tell him, he's where he is right now in his high school career. He's better than I was when I graduated high school. Like his game has blossomed. He has just a real knack for the game, understanding for the game, and very skillful. And I graduated um, my senior year, and I was nowhere near the skill level that he has. So it's just uh, it's exciting for me to see as a dad and his coach to see where his development has brought him.
Yeah.
Last year as a freshman, we were at Decatur. I moved him up mid-season to varsity. He only played 7-8 minutes a night on the varsity second half of the season. Um, and it's hard. It's hard when you're coaching your child because the expectations that you have for yourself and whatever and how everyone else sees you as far as you coaching your child because you never want to show any favoritism. And I've probably been too hard on him as a coach because I tell him you got to be twice as good as that next guy to get those minutes. I mean, if y'all are just the same, then who's to say that I want everybody in the stands to know that you should be out there. It shouldn't be just in my mind or yours, but everybody in the building should know you should be on the floor. So you need to be that much better than that guy in front of you. So those are some of the expectations that I hold him accountable for because I want him to earn everything he gets.
You almost tend to overcorrect. I think that you don't want people to feel like you're showing favoritism, and you're almost like just inherently tougher on them. And that's and now I don't know that from a high school level, but it's six and under level, I can relate to that. But I know y'all mentioned that you had a young team. What I know y'all are already thinking about next year, so tell us about the prospects for next season and who are going to be some returners and then also some new faces that we can expect to see next year.
So Sailor Bright was our lone senior, and I just like to speak on him for a quick second. With him being the only senior in this program this year, my first year here, man, he really helped this program take off. In my first season, I mean, Sailor averaged 18 points for us. He was a leader in the locker room and out on the floor. I don't know if I've coached another player in my 22 years that brought it every single day in practice and in games. I mean, Sailor would diving on the floors. I'm talking about we're in postseason. We're getting ready for area play, and he's still out there diving on the floor in practice for loose balls. And I'm like, hey, dude, man, we need you in 2 days. Like, let's wait to game day for that. So, like, I just want to say, man, that we're gonna really miss him and everything that he brought to this program and on the basketball court this year. I think we've got a heavy sophomore class that's rising. We've got 11 sophomores that are coming up, and we've got 5 juniors. So it's going to be really competitive here in the spring, and to see how that roster shapes up. We share a lot of football guys. So I'll really get my hands on those guys after probably spring football. We're lifting and working out right now. So, I think a few of my guys are playing travel basketball. So this spring is going to be really competitive to see. I mean, like I really don't know how this roster is going to shape up after this spring and summer, because we have so many guys that are going to be fighting for those spots on the varsity.
Yeah. You couldn't get Jerome Malone out to play basketball. Do you know we came up there and did a little feature on Jerome and Mackenzie Knowles and
Yes. Yes. No, he didn't want to play. I tried a couple of other those football guys, and they didn't want to give it a shot. So
I think Jerome's locked into track. So I think that's his focus right now. But you're talking about great kid. I really enjoyed getting to know him. I want to talk about your area. When I was playing high school ball back in the dark ages, I mean, it was like area basketball was super competitive. And y'all are in 6A Area 15, along with Muscle Shoals, y'all, Decatur and Hartselle. And I want to ask Brayden this question. What is it like competing in that area for you? What is unique about that area? What's it like competing in 6A Area 15?
Um, I say every night, like any team can beat any team. Like it's a really competitive area, and like the teams are very good. You know, it's any game can be a good game. You never know. One team may have a good night, other team may not, might get beat by 20. But the next time they play, it might be the roles might be reversed. So no, I think it's a very competitive area.
And just generally speaking, I mean, again, back when I was playing, we didn't have social media and cell phones and stuff like that. I mean, is there communication going on? I know there's so much being posted on Instagram and things like that. What is it like being a high school player right now, just generally?
Um, it's a lot of I say like a lot of people post a lot of things like about other teams, but I don't really pay too much attention to it. Um, I don't really get involved.
You try to stay off social media and not let that affect you.
I mean,
he's on there. I think he
I'm
just doesn't say anything. He's
I'm on
always on
there.
there.
Yeah. I never reply to anything, but I don't really get many things about me. But
Another thing too is, I mean, in today's world, I mean, a lot of people are playing AAU ball together. I mean, so you've got a little bit different dynamic. I mean, back when I was playing, like, I mean, you didn't play AAU with other teams. I mean, and that facilitated a little bit of rivalry, but I can also see how playing AAU could facilitate some rivalries as well. How does that dynamic play out for y'all?
I like playing AAU, you build like stronger bonds, friendships with those guys. So just playing against them and your rivals, like that just makes you want to beat that guy that
Yeah,
much more. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Coach, I want to talk to you for just a minute. You were at Decatur for 4 years, and then prior to that, and I want to get this right. You were at Gadsden State, Gadsden City, Litchfield, Cherokee County, and Gadsden Middle. When you think about your coaching journey, what are some of the highs of that journey? And then also, um, what have you learned from, the different stops along the way that you feel like has made you a better coach?
When I started coaching 22, I think years ago at Gaston Middle, I was 22 years old. It was my first head coaching job, middle school. I coached both teams. I always had a passion for the game. I think those first few years of me coaching, I was very I didn't allow my guys to play. I was all about, executing this play that we've been working on in practice for a week and all season, and run it. Run it and be perfect in doing everything that we were trying to accomplish. I think I've evolved as a coach as far as allowing my guys to play. Basketball is a chaotic game. you're going to turn the basketball over. Like you said, you shoot 35% from the field any given night, and you give yourself a chance to win in high school basketball. So not letting turnovers and mistakes of the game, because I was one of those coaches early on that wanted to play a perfect basketball game. Don't turn the ball over. Don't miss any layups. Make all your free throws, and when in reality, that's just fool's gold
Yeah.
sport. So I've evolved. I think my relationships now are better with my players than they were back then. It wasn't all about basketball, but I didn't understand early on how important it was to build those relationships with those guys, um, and and what it meant for them as a player and coach. I still have relationships with tons of my players that I've coached in these 20 years. I've had a lot of stops along the way. I think it's probably, I didn't even count, maybe 5 or 6 different programs that I've coached in over my 22 years. And I felt like I really started at the bottom with the middle school basketball, and I've worked my butt up the ladder to get to where I am today. And I didn't take any shortcuts. I'm a student of the game. I'm continuously trying to get better as a coach and a person, to help my guys be better men and be better basketball players. So I'm looking to do this for a long time. I've got another son. I got a 6th grader that plays, and I'm hoping to see him through high school. So I've got a lot of years left in the tank, and I've got plenty of energy to back it up.
When I was growing up, there was a guy, and you may have heard of him before, but his name was Glenn Clem, Clem. He was the head basketball coach at Walker College, and I grew up going to his basketball camps, and man, I just like I wanted to be Coach Clem, and he was a guy that just had such an influence on my life and an influence on me wanting to go into coaching. And was there a guy like that for you, Coach, that a mentor or somebody that you looked up to that kind of poured into you a little bit, that you said, you know what, I want to be like this guy, or I want to follow in this guy's footsteps?
It sure was. And that was my high school basketball coach, Jerry Frazier. So funny, not funny story. So my dad played for Coach Frazier in middle school. I played for Coach Frazier in middle school. My freshman year, he moves to the high school, gets the varsity job. So I ended up playing for him for 6 years, middle school and high school.
And what
And so,
what town was this in?
Gaston.
Okay, it's
So he,
Gadsden.
he was Gaston High School. I
Okay.
graduated in 1999. He coached there for 30 something odd years. Like I said, he coached my dad, he coached me, he coached my younger brother. And, he didn't at that time, he didn't realize that he probably was having that big of an influence and mentoring me as a player, as he was, because that's all I wanted to do was coach, to be a coach like Coach Frazier. And to this day, him and I are really good friends. We talk 3 or 4 times a year. We go to the Final Four together every year. So like, understand how those relationships work, and how he fostered, and how he, without without talking about it, he made me want to get in the profession of coaching. And I still thank him to this day, because if it wasn't for basketball and being in education, I don't know what I'd be doing today. I mean, I love kids, I love basketball, and this was something that I really have a lot of passion for. And I'm hoping to have that same influence on my guys. So I don't take what I do lightly. So I just hope that I'm learning, that the kids are learning from me as much as I'm learning from those guys, because this is a sport that is full of learning. So
I want to shift gears for just a second, uh, and I want to talk about young people. Um, Society can be so hard, and just really over the last like 10, 15 years, society gives young people, particularly teenagers, such a hard time. And I mean, I'm 47 years old, man, and but we're doing a lot of stuff with our featured athlete series, where we're going into the high schools and talking to young people, and so I want to ask you guys, y'all are both around young people all the time, in different capacities. Coach, you as a coach, and Brayden, you as a player. Is this a misconception just about young people, and what would you say to those folks that are critical of young people, particularly teenagers?
As it pertains to.
Well, I just think that you hear such negativity, and that they're on their phones all the time, and don't know how to do anything, and just that people can just be very critical. And what I've seen, as we've been doing these interviews, and that there are a lot of teenagers that are exceptional at what they do. They are very, very capable. And there's a lot of kids that their faith is so very important to them. And it gives me a lot of encouragement. So, but y'all are seeing it every day. So, what would you say to that somebody that's being overly critical, or just critical in general of people, of young
And
people?
I would say really, we have to, us as adults have to look at ourselves in the mirror, because we enable our kids to do those things. My boys are guilty as any other teenagers of being on their phones all the time, and playing those video games. And I think parenting is definitely not what it was years ago. There was a time when coaches disciplined kids in the right way,
Mhm.
and parents never got involved. So it's just a different day and age that we live in. And I really don't think it's fair to put the blame on the
Yeah.
kids for the way they're acting,
Yeah.
or the things that they're getting involved in, because we have allowed this to happen as adults. So,
I
like,
mean, adults are on social media all the time.
yeah,
Adults are on their phone all the time. Adults are not disciplining their children.
yes.
So, Brayden, what about you? I mean, tell me about, you're around young people all the time, and you're also a young person. I mean, like, when society is when you hear negative things, or society is critical of young people, how does that make you feel?
Um, I say it's it's a little bit tougher. I mean, kids nowadays, it's like a lot of kids are on their phones a lot, and I don't think it's good to be so negative towards kids. I mean, some kids, they might be on their phones a lot and they might play a lot of video games, but I mean, there's a lot of other things that kids are doing that is really productive in their lives.
How much is social media? I mean, I know that, Instagram's such a big deal, and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, and I mean, there's just that has such an influence. But how does it affect a young person? And it may not affect you as much. You said you didn't really comment, but do you see that really shaping young people, just the way they act and the way they present themselves, the way they feel about themselves? Is that a problem? Is that something that has become a major issue with young people?
I think it is a little bit of a problem. Some people see videos or comments and stuff, and that can affect them like mentally. And just saying like negative things on the internet can really hurt someone. And some people may see videos that they think are cool, like just seeing stuff and they want to be like that person, and that person could really be hurting their lives, and that could get someone hurt or end
Yeah.
up in jail.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, we got to be really careful about what we're watching. All right, I posed my serious question. Now I want to have a little fun. So, and Braden, I want to direct this toward you right now, but um, on a college level and a pro level. So let's start with college first. But who are some guys that you that you look at and you kind of want to emulate their game, both on the college and on the pro level?
College, I say, I really like Tahad Pettiford. I really like his game. Um, I just like how he's able to create space off the dribble, and he's real quick and athletic. I really like his game.
Yeah. Did you watch the game on
Against
Saturday?
Bama,
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but he was doing really good out there. I'm a Bama fan though. I don't really like Auburn, but I do like Tahad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what a great game. I watched it from beginning to end and was just so impressed with the level of play. All right, what about NBA? Tell me some guys, and it doesn't have to be somebody you emulate, but who do you like?
Um, I like Steph Curry, obviously, great shooter. Um, I really like Kyrie, and I say Rob Dillingham.
Yeah. Did y'all get to watch the NBA All-Star stuff? Did y'all get to see any of that?
I could not get. I had no interest in it. Like it's just so watered down now that
Yeah.
and NBA basketball is too. Like I don't even care to watch the NBA basketball because it's almost just pure entertainment. Like nobody guards. It doesn't seem like the games really mean anything to me. I'm a real big college basketball fanatic because every game matters in college, and those guys are wanting to get to the next level, so they don't come out and compete every night. So like, I very seldom even watch NBA basketball.
Yeah. I watched it and they had a new format for the All-Star game and it created some excitement. I don't think Draymond Green liked it too much. He made a comment about it, but um, I started. I'm a big fantasy, sports participant, and so I started doing fantasy basketball a few years ago, fantasy NBA a few years ago, and I've enjoyed it because it really has gotten me more interested in the game. I've noticed that I'm watching the game a little bit more. I didn't watch it for a number of years, and I'm like y'all. I mean, I was more of a college fan, but I've enjoyed it. I mean, I know that the game has changed, and I know things are different. And it's not your bruising game like in the '90s with Jordan and the Knicks and Ewing and the Pacers and all those guys. I mean, it's just a different game. But I have enjoyed watching it. All right. So, what's the plan over the next few months? Brayden, are you playing any summer leagues? You going to any camps? And then, coach, what do these next few months look like for you in terms of your preparation for next year?
For me, this summer is going to be really important for me to be in the weight room. I feel like I need to get a lot stronger. I'm gonna play AAU and hopefully get some exposure that way. I'll probably go to a few college camps this summer too, just trying to get my name out there.
And what AAU team are you going to be playing with, and where is it?
I'm not sure yet. I have a AAU trial this Saturday, but that team's Alabama Truth. But besides that, I really don't know where I'm gonna play.
Is that something, and I'm not real familiar with AAU basketball or the format or whatever. I mean, is that something that kind of is a yearly thing? Like you get through a season and then you try out and then you may go with another AAU team. How does that work?
Well, for us, we played in Birmingham last year with JSI Elite. So he started driving now. So I've got my younger son too. So like I'm like, something a little bit closer to home to where I feel comfortable with you driving to and from practice. So, we're looking for something in this Huntsville area. But um in today's world, kids change teams. Like it'll be kids change teams 3 or 4 times this spring.
Yeah.
Like not that you just played for this team last spring and you're gonna play with somebody different this spring. They'll start with a team and play with 3 or 4 other teams before it's over with. But I'm real big in wherever we make our decision, that's going to be our home, and we're going to make it work. So wherever he chooses to play, he's going to go in there and grind it out and work and just try to get better at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah, we don't need him on I-65 at midnight.
No,
I mean, we don't.
no. And just for us, our basketball program right now, we're lifting 4 days a week. So I think I've got 11 or 12 guys that don't play football, but we're actually going over with Coach Gross over to the new facility and lifting with those guys, and it's been a really great experience this last week. My guys have really enjoyed it, and it's going to really pay off for us because the weight room is important, and not only physically, but just the mentality
Yeah.
that it builds as far as thinking you're big and bad. So
Oh
uh,
yeah.
that weight room and skill development all spring, and trying to get as many as my guys to playing travel basketball this spring is going into June. It's going to be
Yeah.
hard.
Now, Brayden, are you trying to put on weight right now? I know you're trying to bulk up a little bit, but are you eating all the time? Are you trying to get bigger? Is that kind of a
Uh,
goal here over the next few months?
I'm not just like trying to eat all the time to get bigger. Like I eat my normal meals, my normal amount of food. But I mean, after workouts, I'll drink a protein shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really, I'm not trying to bulk up too much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not in my head to get big, like that big.
Yeah, you want to get stronger, but you don't really. Yeah, when I was playing, I graduated high school at 16. Um, I was 15 when I started my senior year. And I was like 6'4", probably 185. And I had to work to get up to that weight. And I just remember my dad made me drink. It's like going back to those protein shakes. There used to be this like it was like Joe Weider, protein shakes, and
Uh-huh.
and I mean I would have to drink like a big old thing of a protein shake every night, and uh, but I just remember that, man. It was like hard to put on weight, and your dad will tell you this now that now it's hard to keep it off, so you go from you know, I mean, you get to 47, and then I mean, you can eat like nothing and still put on weight. So I don't know that I may be regretting those protein shakes, but you keep doing it, man. But all right, let's talk about this, and we need to kind of wrap up. But outside of basketball, what's life like in the Walker household? Brayden, let me start with you. And what's one thing about your dad? Nothing bad now, but I mean, what's one thing about your dad that maybe some of your teammates don't know?
Um, I feel like he's actually a really fun guy. Like once you get to hang out with him outside of basketball, like I feel like my teammates, they probably just think he's just so hard and like he don't want to do nothing fun like outside of basketball, but he can actually be a fun guy.
Now, is he kind of goofy? I mean, when he lets his hair down, like at the house. I mean, can he give me something? Let's see now. Like, I mean, when I'm at the house, I've got a 6-year-old son, I've got a 3-year-old daughter, and we dance in the kitchen now. I mean, like we'll put on Alexa, tell Alexa to play a song, and we'll get in there and dance and have a good time. My staff over here at Blanton Media Group doesn't see that. Uh, give me a little nugget.
I mean, he's always cracking jokes. He likes to be funny. Um, I don't know.
Like, does he do like practical jokes or just try to be funny or like, telling actual jokes?
Nah, just spur of the moment. Just I don't know. He's just not like actual dad jokes or nothing. He don't do none of those.
All right, coach. So let me ask it this way. What's your favorite thing about being at home? My thing is like if I can get about 5 minutes, if I can get back to the house and I can get about 5 minutes and I've got both of my kids laying on the couch with me, we're watching a little TV or something. If I can just get five, that's my favorite thing. So for you, what's your favorite thing about being at home?
Just being able to enjoy your family because of, coaching is not easy, and this is my support group. So like anytime that I'm away from the gym and I've got all my family, like, we're big into vacation. I'm sure my wife, she's in another room. I'm sure she's already got planned where we're going this summer. So like, we take 2 or 3 vacations every year, and just that time, that you can't get back, because we spend a lot of time in the gym.
Yeah.
And the little time that we do have at home, we're definitely trying to spend together. I cook a little bit, not as much as I probably should, but when it warms up, I probably barbecue once a week. So like we are, we got the little flat top where we do the hibachi stuff, but I love cooking in the spring and the summertime.
Yeah. Tell me about your trips. Are y'all beach people, or is it just kind of random, or
Beach a lot. We went to where we go?
Bahamas.
We went to the Bahamas
Yeah.
last summer.
That
okay.
was like two
summers ago.
Last one we went to Dominican Republic.
Yeah, we went to the DR. I told you we vacation. Like, I'd rather just go to the beach for about 2 nights, but like my wife enjoys it, and that's the least I can do for her, sitting through those 30 high school basketball games every year.
That's true.
I don't know if I can ever say she's ever missed a game. I really, honestly, in my 20-something years of coaching, I can't ever say she's missed a single basketball game.
Now, is she tough on you too, Brayden, or is she kind of provide like a little softness with her?
Mama bear.
Yeah, she's
Mama bear.
laid back. Yeah.
But if she wants to go to the beach, she's going for like several days.
7 days.
Week at least.
6, yes. 6 nights and 7 days.
But yeah,
short of
we
that.
do the same thing. I mean, like, there's a triangle between, it's like beach, beach, condo, and pool. And that's 7 days. That's all my family does: beach, condo, pool, and it's just a little triangle. And after about 2 days, I've had enough. But
That's me.
they like it. We're gonna let them do it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all right, guys. Well, hey, this has been a lot of fun, and I just really appreciate y'all coming on. And I wish y'all the very best. What an awesome thing that y'all have got to experience. Brayden, you playing for your dad, and Coach, you've been able to coach your son, and enjoy it. Savor every minute of it, and we just wish you all the very best moving forward.
Thank you for having us on, and I appreciate everything you're doing for the sports world. Taking the time out to grow all these sports. I watch listen to a lot of your podcasts, and I follow you on all social media, and every time something pops up on my screen, I'm going to the podcast, and I'm reading the articles that you put out. So thank you again for all the time that you put into our sports.
Yeah, of course. It's been a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Tailgate Podcast. And in the meantime, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We'll see you next time.